Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pooya and Liana Lounge for episode number
23.
And if it's wrong, I'll memify it. But welcome to episode number
24?
You said 23. Why'd you switch up?
Well, because I got confused. I'm trying to remember. Did I do the thumbnail last week? Yeah, so 22. So today's 23.
Never doubt yourself. Welcome in. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm one half of your host, Pooya and Liana. With me, my lovely co-host, the one and only.
Confused Liana Boris.
That's the one. Confused Liana Boris at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back to the lounge. Hope y'all have had a good week.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. It's good to be back. It's been a moderately eventful week, I would say, for us. It's been a absolutely crazy week at work for me.
Okay.
So,
well, do you want to talk about it?
it's busy, man. There's like so much happening. And it's really all ramping up. And it's exciting that it's busy, right? Like, it's exciting that it's busy. It's also overwhelming that it's busy. But in important news, your girl got invited to lunch, okay, by her coworkers. Don't mean to brag, but making some friends. So you thought it couldn't be done.
I thought it couldn't be done.
I just assumed you thought I could not make friends.
No, I just thought that, we wouldn't tell our partner who prepares our lunches, hey, I need a lunch for tomorrow after we get back late on a nighttime activity yesterday. And then I stayed up.
I didn't know I was going to get invited to lunch. Okay. And I have several times offered to take my lunch prep back if you're going to complain about it.
No, I need the what do you
routine.
call it? No, that's not it. I need the complaining chip.
Oh, what? That's not fair.
It's very valid. Anyway, so you don't. But the good news is I don't have to make a lunch tonight because
exactly.
You have it for tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
my lunch is still at work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So got invited. So my building. I think I can talk about this. My building is.
Whoa.
What?
I don't know. Do we have security clearance to hear about your luxurious ivory tower you call a building?
It's not a luxurious ivory tower. We're actually moving locations, but whatever. So there's sort of three different groups of people kind of within the company, and we're also on different floors. So I got invited. My office is on the second floor, but the lab people, all their offices are on the first floor. And technically I'm a lab people because my lab, the lab that I run, is downstairs. And they invited me to lunch today, which I felt very honored to be invited. Obviously I had to say yes. So I got to go to lunch. So one, I found a Vietnamese, because the guy who took us, Chris, he took us to a Vietnamese place, which was very good, by the way. So we're going to go together.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to be excited. You're welcome. And it was nice. It was nice it was my first, apart from my very, very first day, because I had lunch. My boss took me to lunch on my very first day. This was my first sort of social lunch with people. So ya girls making friends. I don't know how good I did at making friends, but they either took pity on me enough to invite me out to lunch, or they actually wanted to have me there. So regardless, I will take it either way, pity or actual enjoyment.
And you said the lunch was good.
Yeah,
so at the very least, did you have fun? Did you mingle? Was it a good time, or did you kind of feel like...
No, it was good. It was a good group. It was 5 of us, which is the perfect size, right? Because there's enough people to have conversation without you can still all talk together. Because once you get, maybe 6 would be okay. But once you get to 7, you start to break off into groups of 3s and 4s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like 5 was a perfect number, and it was great to get to chat, because I had chatted with sort of all of them kind of individually or in some semblance of different groups.
Yeah.
So, just making the inroads, because coworker friends are important.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I got plenty of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all remote, but that's good. You still need coworker friends.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Are you putting a different weight on remote friends versus in-person friends?
No, absolutely not.
I was giving a little bit of that.
Well, I was confused who you meant by your coworkers when you were...
I am sorry, by the way. I know I've adjusted this microphone 12 times. This couch is a comfortable couch. It is not my favorite place to podcast. I'll say it.
Well, we don't have to podcast from here.
Yeah, but we have to figure out what our alternative is. And right now, I do not have time for that.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what's fun, though? You know what's fun? we actually got a sponsor for this stream.
Who's the sponsor? A $5 bill? Lincoln. A $20 bill. Is this going to be a magic trick?
$25.
Okay, $25.
Comes out of this pocket and goes in this pocket.
What are you doing? Is this a sleight of hand?
This stream is sponsored by the Pooya Twitch stream. That's right. Twitch.tv/Pooya is where you can find some good content. And this month, it's been every day. So come through, check it out. Got a lot of things going on there. But yeah.
The stream you did yesterday, I don't want to give any spoilers.
Oh, you can, because it's like 4 days into the future.
Yeah, I know, but if someone hasn't checked it out, like I want them to go be surprised.
I think you need to explain it, because if someone doesn't know, that's the last stream I want them to check, because it'll make no sense to them.
Okay, well, let me provide a little bit of context,
Sure.
right? So you're still finishing Promise Month, right?
I just wrapped up day 22.
Okay.
Which is funny. We're on episode 23 of The Pal today. Tonight is day 23 of Promise
cute.
Month. Yeah.
Okay, so Pooya, one of the things that came up on his wheel was Santa cosplay.
Yes.
Right? So and we're going to talk about it, we went to a baseball game.
Yeah, have you noticed I've been fidgeting with the same shirt?
Yes, and we'll talk about that. So we went to a baseball game, but when we got home from the baseball game, Pooya still had to do a stream, but it was a Santa cosplay stream. So he took a very unique approach to the cosplay.
So what happened was the night before, so Monday night, I did my stream, and as I went to say goodbye and stream, I spun the wheel, Santa cosplay, I was like, all right, see y'all tomorrow, bye, hung up, disconnected the stream, and then immediately realized, shoot, I forgot we have the baseball game tomorrow. And that starts at like 6:40 our time, which is already 7:40 Eastern. I'm not starting the stream later than 8, but also I don't have time to do it prior because we're going to be leaving around 5 our time, 6 Eastern. So it was not looking good. And so that night I had an idea of how to do it where it would be fun. And I was like, Santa, I'm sorry, are we interrupting you?
No, you're fine. Well, because remember how my Pilates class today got canceled?
Yeah.
I'm getting like Pilates texts. I don't know what's up.
Oh God!
It's an emergency.
Yeah.
It's a reformer.
I feel like Pilates texts are literally either class got canceled, got postponed, or you're on the wait list or you're off the wait list. None of it is important enough for you to interrupt my story.
I didn't interrupt your story. I didn't say a single word until you asked me.
You might as well have yawned in my face.
Oh my God. Okay, continue with your Santa story.
So, one of the things listen, I didn't grow up with Santa, but one of the things I've been told Santa does is people put out milk and cookies. Santa eats the milk and the cookies. So I was like, okay, that's good. So I had an idea. I was like, before it hits midnight, so that Promise Month is still intact.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and set up a plate of milk and cookies. I'm going to wear the Santa outfit. Stream's going to come on with the milk and cookies on set. And then I'm going to pull up like a sneaky Santa, sit there, eat milk and cookies, communicate with nobody, then end stream. And that's it.
Did you bring gifts for your chat, though?
I brought them the gift of laughs.
Oh,
you know, they were probably lamowing all over the place.
Yeah, LOLing. Okay. Because normally that's what Santa does. Like, it's kind of a trade-off. Like, you give him the cookies and the milk, and then he gives you...
No, well, chat gave me the milk and cookies.
Yes, and then you gave chat the gift of laughs.
Yeah, or give myself a gift because I was in my house. I was eating the milk
that
and
is
cookies
weird.
in this
Chat
residence.
snuck into your house.
Chat had a live camera into my house.
That is a little bit weird. The live feed into Santa's house.
Yeah. Well, not Santa's
house. At the North Pole. Well,
no.
Yeah, but you're Santa.
No, I'm not.
Oh. You're cosplaying as Santa.
No, I'm not. Santa snuck into my room and ate the milk and cookies.
Oh, okay. I understand the lore now. Thank you for explaining.
Yeah. Anyway, you little leprechaun. What else?
Why am I a leprechaun?
I don't know.
If you're going to be Santa, I'm a leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the Tooth Fairy.
Keebler.
No,
you can't just switch up on me.
Well, there's no other famous elves. Are Snap, Crackle, and Pop elves?
No, they're the Rice Krispies guys.
Yeah, I know, but are they elves or are they just men?
I don't think so.
Are they they're humans?
I don't know.
Why don't you know
I've
this?
never concerned myself with the identity of the mascots on the bowl of cereal. I just ate the cereal.
Oh.
I don't give a damn if Tony the Tiger has like 7 legs, 4 legs. Okay. Is it a regular tiger? Is it an animatronic? I don't care.
Okay.
The
Tony the Tiger. Mm-hmm. The Toucan Sam is the Fruit Loops one, right? Okay. What's the Lucky Charms guy? Does he have a name?
Leprechaun Man?
Yeah, the Leprechaun guy. Mm-hmm. Snap, Crackle, and Pop, who I assume are brothers. Like, it's kind of a Huey, Louie, and Dewey situation.
Like the ducks?
Yeah, like the ducks.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm assuming that are Huey, Dewey, and Louie brothers?
I mean, what else? Cousins?
Right. Okay. So somehow I assume Snap, Crackle, and Pop are all related. What other mascots are there? Whoever's on the Wheaties box at the time.
Cocoa Pops used to have the monkey.
Yes.
I don't know if that's still the case.
No, they had. I thought it was like a bird.
No.
Oh.
Well, maybe it could be because it could be different mascots for different countries.
If you were to be a mascot for a cereal.
Chocos. Did y'all have Chocos here?
No. What are Chocos?
Ooh, they were so good. It was a green box, and it was a bear, and it was a chocolate cornflakes as well. Or
there
not
was one
cornflakes,
that was
but
a
chocolate
frog.
cereal. Oh,
Smack,
Honey Smacks.
Honey Smacks.
Or Honey Puffs.
Okay, something along those lines.
Because then
there
there's
was a honeycomb cereal.
There's the one I liked, which was Sugar Puffs, and I've shown you that mascot.
Yes.
It's like the hairy, like, monster-looking thing.
Yes.
There's the Cookie Crisp bear, wolf.
Was it a wolf? He's a wolf. Oh, Trix are for kids. Oh no, that's yogurt.
That's a rabbit. Trix is the rabbit.
Yeah, but is Trix a cereal? Trix is a yogurt.
Trix is no, it's a fucking.
Trix is a cereal.
Yeah.
Okay, a silly rabbit. Trix are for
yeah.
kids.
Oh, and there's the Nesquik bunny.
The Nesquik bunny. Mm-hmm. That's another mascot. Mm-hmm. Okay, one day of mascot tier list.
Oh, the Cornflakes Brewster.
Cornflakes is a rooster?
Yeah, the green rooster, the green chicken.
I can vaguely see. Isn't that just the Kellogg's logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it on the box. I like the honey. There was this honeycomb cereal. I remember my grandmother having it because I remember getting to have Sunkist soda, orange soda, and this like honeycomb cereal.
What?
That's my memory.
Was this like a Big Brother house like you're on slop punishment back in the day?
No, it was
you can only have Sunkist and Honey Puffs.
No, it was
or
good.
honeycombs.
It was good.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if Cinnamon Toast Crunch has a.
Didn't Cheerios have like a bee?
Yeah, the Cheerios has a bee, which predates the Bee movies, so they were really ahead of their time.
Yeah, because the Bee movie put bees on the map. Is that what we're saying?
It did. Nobody gave a crap about bees until the Bee movie, and now everybody's like, the bees are disappearing. Somebody do the math. I bet there's a graph that correlates these two. Because kids care about bees now, I guess.
I highly doubt that movie had anything to do with the bee movement, but
the bee movement.
I think Beyonce did more for bees than bees did.
That's the Bay movement.
But they're called the Beehive. That's the fandom.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if they eat the honeycomb cereal.
Anyway,
okay. I don't know what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Once again, I had a story I was talking about, and then you
were talking about the stream.
Yeah, and then you talked about how you're Keebler, and you're like, is there another famous elf? Or
I asked you
Snap, Crackle, and Pop elves, are they human?
Yeah.
And then we started talking about,
Yeah, mascots.
Nailed it.
Well, how else is streaming Promise Month going?
It's going good. We're reaching the end. There's about 6 ideas, I think, left on the wheel at this point, and it'll be done by next week. So it's coming to a close. Listen, here's the reality of the situation. I was pumped doing this idea. It's been very nice to like get back into doing more creative outside the box streams / not quite outside the box, just different than what I've been doing. But this past week has felt a little fatigue-ish because I feel like, and this is more so an issue I have, where I am unable to do a lot of things at the same time. So I'm getting in front of my own way because I'm like, well, I'll have this stream, can't do anything else. So I was like, oh, I could. If I really like tried, I could. So it's felt a little bit like, I'm like, I guess what I'm trying to say is when the end hits next week, I'm going to be a little sad, but also a little excited to see what's next. I'm going to take a little break and then come back and see what we do. But I feel revitalized, which is great.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I have one more work-related thing to talk about.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So I really like my boss. Okay?
Cool.
In general. We were chatting today, and then she made a joke that she was like, I like it when you dress like a sailor because I'm wearing like a striped shirt today. And the only thing I could think of was you mocking me for dressing like freaking what's his face? Steve Jobs. And now I'm like, great. Now I'm getting it from my boss for dressing like a sailor, at home for dressing like Steve Jobs. What can I wear that I will not be made fun of?
To be clear, you're not getting dissed at home for dressing like Steve Jobs. You are coming home from work dressed like Steve Jobs. That's different. Or that time you dressed like Helly.
Yeah, well, most of my outfits are very heli-coded. Because I go for just solid color most of the time, because otherwise I get made fun of for being a sailor when I wear stripes. I go for solid color shirts and like neutral pants. As I wear that every day.
Right.
So don't blame the players. Hate the game or whatever it is.
Yeah, nailed it.
Okay, let's talk. Speaking of outfits,
Okay.
look at our outfits.
Yeah, we went to our first baseball game yesterday.
We did.
We went to the Minnesota Twins game. It was Prince night. I had booked these tickets. I got the package with the reversible jerseys. So I'm wearing one side of the jersey. Liana's wearing the other side of the jersey. And first of all, I love this jersey. It looks sick. I like it a lot. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was yesterday. So we did a whole trip. Liana came home from work. We made our way out there.
Making our way downtown.
It was the world's longest queue to get these jerseys. I couldn't believe it. But it moved pretty quickly.
I mean, it worked out. I dropped you off and then I went to go park. So
yeah. Then you came back. We ate dinner at a place, and Liana, I feel like, was going through a lot of emotions at this.
Why?
This spot. You're like, oh, this is like nostalgic.
Well, yeah, because it reminds me. I mean, okay. So first of all, for context, so I grew up. Okay. Then I went to college.
What?
I know.
You grew up first?
I did.
And then went to college?
I did.
What is this sorcery?
I grew up, I went to college. Then I went to grad school. Okay. And when I was younger, I would go to a lot of sporting events. Like, especially my dad would take me to a lot of lacrosse games. So indoor, outdoor lacrosse. And we would always go downtown, like downtown Denver. We would get pizza, and then we would go to the Mammoth games. Like, I'm talking like specifically the indoor lacrosse games. So that would be the thing. That's what we would do. And I hadn't had that, right? Because it was like, I did that when I was a kid. Then as you so aptly pointed out, then I went to college. Then I went to graduate school.
Yeah.
And graduate school is a little bit different because I did go to like some games in New Orleans, but not like frequently. And it's just a very different feel.
Right.
Connecticut doesn't have any that we have a WNBA team, but it's not like there's not Connecticut pride.
I mean, I think the other part of it too is that we weren't not really tapped into sports like that at that stage either.
But again, you would have to go to, you're either going to New York or you're going up to Boston.
I feel like Connecticut has good NCAA basketball teams.
Yeah, like UConn and stuff.
Yeah, we never paid attention to.
Okay, but I would say, like, in general, comparing Connecticut to here.
Oh, yeah, night and day.
Yeah, it's like night and day. Like, there's so much more state pride.
I feel like the most
town pride.
And this is coming from someone who basically lived at home, lived indoors, and like didn't really go anywhere. But it really felt like the big sporting event of the state was Yale versus whatever.
The Yale Harvard football game. Yeah. But yeah, so it has that, to me, the Minnesota and Minneapolis specifically have the same feeling as Denver. To me,
okay.
Like, there are more similarities to Denver than where I've ever lived. And so it's got me feeling a little bit nostalgic.
Feeling some type of way?
Yeah. And I think the combination of, going down to, I think the only difference that would have made it feel even more emotional is if we had taken the train, which we will be taking the train next time because the stop is literally like right in front of the stadium, which I did not realize.
Yeah.
But we went down, we like did all the things that my dad and I would do. I don't know. It just felt like there was a lot of nostalgia sort of emotions.
To be clear, I didn't bring it up because I was making fun of you. I brought it up because I'm the nostalgic one in the family.
Yes.
And now it's fun to see you be all like, ooh. It reminds me of a place I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. What?
Okay, well, I had fun.
Good. I would hope so.
And then, we ate, and then what did we do? We went to the game.
Oh my God. Crazy. I got a burger, and it was served on like a sandwich bread. It was weird. Like a baguette, like a half baguette.
It looked really good. The bread looked really good.
The bread was good.
Yeah.
The burger was okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think you got it too well done.
I panic. I typically feel like outside of a steak, I'm not really going to places where I'm like, I want the burger like this. So when they ask, I'm like, shit.
You want medium.
Okay.
That's the answer that you want.
Sure.
For you.
Okay.
I'm a medium rare gal.
You're a rare gal.
Thank you. I'm special.
Mm-hmm. One of one.
We went to the stadium.
What?
I know. This
Okay.
is like the same revelation of me going to college after I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And we got up to our seats, and the whole experience I thought was very fun.
Okay.
I had a blast. There were several things that amused me because this was almost like very sensory overload. Like there were so many things to look at.
It's a lot of screens.
It was a lot. Okay, so it was a lot of screens. It was a lot of people. There were a lot of things happening. There were also, I could see a lot of buildings. So I got distracted by all the buildings in downtown. And so there were just a myriad of things for me to look at. So it took me a long time to actually start watching the game because I was busy processing all of the things that were happening around me. And then there were conversations happening behind us. So I was like trying to listen in on, I mean, not trying, but like I was overhearing those kinds of conversations. So it was a lot to take in. So I pretty much spent the entire game just kind of like slowly processing everything that was happening around me.
Yeah, I would catch Liana doing everything but watching the game at
There
times.
were so many colors and noises and shapes and moving things. And there were people doing stuff. And like you could watch the people playing cornhole and then you could see other people over there. And it was just so much all happening at once. It was very difficult to watch.
Sounded like you had a good time, though.
I did. I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
My favorite thing of the entire night was there was one moment when they told us to get loud. And not just loud, unapologetically loud. That was easily my favorite part because I was yelling and then I said, and I'm not apologizing for it. I yelled that as well.
My favorite part was having to remind Liana that we are outside and that jokes that she might make in the house for the two of us cannot be done outside in front of thousands of people.
They're not going to hear me.
No, I think my favorite part was when they did the celebrity lookalike stuff. And there were a couple people that were so bummed that they got put on the camera. It was like, shoot.
I wonder if they have certain rules for the celebrity lookalike cam.
What is that?
Right? Like, you can't pick unattractive women or something like, you know what I mean? What? Well, because like self-esteem issues and stuff, like you can't have no kids. Like you can't do a lookalike.
I'll just say
for
this
kids.
much. The dude that got picked for Jack Black was not happy to be picked for Jack Black.
Which I don't get. He did look like Jack Black.
I think he kind of, it's one of those things where it's like you don't want to be perceived. And it's like not only were you perceived on a stadium billboard that everyone's like, yeah, he is that guy.
He did. Yeah, he does look like Jack Black.
There was a guy that would dress like Prince, which makes sense.
Right. That one, that's the last one that they ended the whole series with. I didn't think that anybody got like too unfairly treated.
I didn't realize we were still doing kiss cams in 2025.
Okay, they did kiss cam. They did dance cam. They did
kid cam.
Kid cam.
Which was just, hey, look at the kids around the stadium.
Look at all these kids.
And then they did the mascot race.
Mascot race look like I did enjoy the mascot race, except they didn't know when to start, so they all had staggered starts, which was kind of unfair because the one who ended up that was free. All right. The mascot race was absolutely rigged because two things happened. One, they had the staggered start, so not everybody started at the same time because I was rooting for the Paul Bunyan. The ox's name? Babe. I was rooting for Babe, the big blue ox. Babe got a late start because it was unclear when the starting thing was going to happen. And then the freaking Target mascot cheated by reaching their hand out and just swiping the tape, but Wanda got there first.
I don't know. Real ones root for Louis the Loon anyway, so.
Well, Louis the Loon had a really fun hat, which I did appreciate.
Louis the Loon came in third.
Yeah, Louis the Loon came in third. Yeah. Well, whatever. Wanda should have won, and that's just some BS. Like, it's Target Field, so I get it. It's going to be bias. Because isn't that the biggest predictor of whether or not your team will win is it's not actually home team advantage. It's like home umpire advantage. Like, umps will want to call things in favor of the home team thing. Did you hear that? Okay, I might have made that up, but I think it's real.
You're basically still saying home team advantage.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't actually have to do with the fact that it's not about it's about the umps calling in favor of the teams. Like someone did the analysis, and when it's a home team game, calls are typically in that team's favor. Mm-hmm. So it's actually the umps calling, but that ump calling is factored by the fact that they're at home by the fans. Okay, or maybe the bias of the umpires. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. That's not the point. The point is that Spot the dog or whatever cheated. So I was really upset about that. Okay, fine, bullseye.
Because Target.
Bullseye cheated, which they let that slide. Okay.
Did you leave one of the rooms upstairs open?
No.
Okay.
The other thing that I really enjoyed was the photos that they had of the teams. So in baseball, let me explain to those of you who don't know.
Oh, yeah.
When a batter goes up to bat, they show their picture on the screen. Okay. And we were watching, so it was a Twins game, but they were playing the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers pictures are all standard photos from the front, you know. When you think of a photo.
Because they're not home team, I think.
Yeah. Now the Twins photos had a wide variety of interesting angles of their photos. My personal favorite was the crotch shot, which was essentially a camera
angle. Oh my God,
like,
yeah,
up,
the up,
It
yeah.
was like up at the guy's face, like from his crotch angle. It was like, who chose this photo? There were a couple that were like that. There were ones that were like way up high or like way too low. There was one guy who's kind of like turned like this, and then the shot was like down, like up his side, which was also a very interesting choice. To be clear, I'm not hating on any of these. They made it the game very enjoyable because I knew when the batters were coming up based on which photos were going to show up. I was like, it's crotch guy.
Here comes crotch guy.
Here comes crotch guy.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna come off sounding like I didn't have a good time because I genuinely did. But if I'm starting to, because now I've been to, and obviously we're gonna be going to the other games, football, basketball, but just generally, this was my first baseball game ever.
This was your first baseball game ever? Mm-hmm. Oh, we got to share that. That's so nice.
Yeah. Was it your first baseball game?
No.
Okay.
I've had plenty of baseball games.
All right, relax. Yeah, I mean, you and I have had now in the last year both first football games and first baseball games. My first baseball game, my first.
Your first football. Yeah.
And here's my ultimate. So, just the having watched a soccer game in person, basketball, baseball, and this is gonna come off harsh. I'm not saying it's a bad sport. I'm also not saying that I'm never going again. I felt like it lacked a lot more of the action that I get from the other sports. So,
well, I think you watch a lot of soccer, football, and stuff is constantly happening. Same with basketball, right?
Basketball more than the others for sure, because it's just quick back and forth. But football, I think a lot of people, a lot of people would make the same argument I just made, where like that's boring, 0-0, no one scored. So I guess also it's like I didn't grow up with it, so it's part of it.
Yeah.
But there were moments where I was like very much like in on everything, and then there was moments where I'm like, oh my God, like if I see another ball, I'm gonna sort of go.
I think it's a little bit like gambling, in the sense. What?
Go on.
Okay.
I want to hear this out.
So there's this concept behind gambling. It also applies to social media, like doom scrolling, where you get this dopamine hit from something positive that happens. And when it's like sort of rare, and Clammy's chasing her toy.
Yeah, go on.
When it's a rare event, you want to kind of keep chasing that high. So imagine you're playing slots. And you're playing the slots and you're playing and all of a sudden you hit and it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. You get this really big dopamine rush and you're all excited and you're like, you're going to chase that, right? Because that made you feel good. You're like, okay, I want to do that again. So you keep playing the slots. You keep doing it's the same thing when you're scrolling social media. You see a really funny video and you're like, haha, that's great. That's a dopamine rush. And then you keep scrolling to try to continue to find that.
Yeah.
I feel like baseball and football, because those are both like start and stop kind of plays, I think that also has that kind of same element that like you're re-rack, okay? Like scroll again, right? Throw again, see what happens. Throw again, because when they hit the ball, it's so exciting.
They hit the one guy hit a home run.
We got to see a home run. Fireworks went off.
We got to see 2 home runs.
Yeah, but one was for the other team, and they didn't do the fireworks for the other team.
But they loaded like 4 runs off of
Okay, that was I know.
Yeah.
That was actually a really
I was
good
just
play.
like, oh no.
Yeah, by the way, the Twins lost terribly.
Was it 16-4
was the final score?
Yeah, because initially it looked like close. So
it was 0-0, 0-0, and then it was
innings, 3 innings of 0-0.
Yeah.
And I was like, this might be a tight game. And then the runs started coming.
Yeah.
And it looked a little brutal.
Started
I think
coming,
that's
and
the
they
other
kept
thing.
coming.
I feel like being part of the home team and then not be like, if it's a lopsided game, you want the home team to be the one winning.
Okay.
'Cause then it's like the energy's there. But with every run, the energy started draining. The other thing that I noticed, more so than any other sporting event I've gone to, a lot of people just were not watching the game. It would just be like, they'd be there for like 5 minutes, get up and leave, and then they're gone for like 30 minutes.
It's like a social event. Yeah, but other sporting events are like that too.
I mean, I don't know. I've been to basketball and football games, and they've not been like that.
Yeah.
Or at least from my experience.
Yeah. But that's kind of what I like, that it's kind of casual in nature, but also when you play 8,000 games a year, like, it's going to end up being a little bit casual in nature.
It was very clear, I think, that a lot of people go to these games. Like, so these were the jerseys that we got for Prince Night. Last year, they got hats and like jackets. And I saw so many of those Prince hats and those jackets. So I was like, these are people that frequently go to these things. So I think also it's like, it's not a playoff game, so I guess there's a lot less of that oomph.
I mean, the thing is if you're a big baseball fan, and like, let's say you lived near the stadium, right? I'm trying to see how much season tickets cost.
Dear Lord, probably a lot.
Because if you get a season ticket, and because there's people who go and like keep track of the scores and like do all the stats and stuff. There's people who are like really have you heard of that? Did you see there were women in front of us that had books out, and they were like writing down everything that happened.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't spot that.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, like, it's like, that's your thing, you know? That's what you go and you do. Okay. They don't know the pricing online. You have to inquire for pricing. Anyway, I had a blast. Mm-hmm. We got to see a home run. Oh, I liked it. I liked the foul balls that popped up because they were near us. Yeah. That was very exciting. I thought maybe we were going to be able to catch one, but they didn't come that high. I'm
always paranoid if that happens, it's going to hit me in the face.
Well, that's why I told you got to be ready to catch the ball.
Yeah. No, we were not in a very good angle for that. Our seats.
Oh, we were at a good angle. We were too like,
high.
Yeah, we were one level too high. Yeah. I think if we had been lower, we would have. But it was like coming at us.
Yeah, but I thought even like us being a higher level seat, I thought it was a good view of everything.
Oh, we had a really great view. Yeah. And there were just so many things to look at. I really like the Twin Stadium has this thing where it's like Minneapolis and St. Paul like shaking hands over the Mississippi River.
Twins.
Yeah, that was really cute. I really liked that. And your glasses made the colors really vibrant.
Yeah, my sunglasses made the colors look way better.
We got to see a proposal, which I feel like is a baseball classic. That was so good.
Honestly, I know it's a cliche to do it at a sports game. I've never seen that happen, so I was very excited.
You've never seen that happen? Oh, that's so sweet.
What are you doing?
Because that just feels, there's something very classic Americana about what we went to last night. Like about the baseball game.
I got $1 dog.
He got a $1 hot dog.
Is that very classic Americana?
You got to see a proposal, which is very classic
Liana
Americana.
ate Dippin' Dots out of a hat.
Oh my God. Wait, I got it in a baseball cap, and then I came home and I washed it out. And then this morning I put the baseball hat on Pearl, who was not happy about the baseball hat, but it was very cute. So yeah, I thought that was very fun. We also got to enjoy, Pooya didn't know about the walkout song concept.
No.
That was new to him.
It was new to me. Oh, this might sound mean, but like, they need to have like 4 songs each.
Why?
Because I felt like the songs I wanted more songs. Once I've heard each twice, it wasn't as like, yeah, I needed a new one.
What would your walkout song be?
No, I asked you and you had an answer ready, and then I said save it for the pod.
Well, yeah, I'm remembering now, so I'm asking you.
My song?
Yeah.
You know my song.
What's your song?
Boozy by Window Kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't my cardigan.
No, not Cardigan. Oh. Not the Cardigan song.
Oh, that's not that song.
Boozy. And I have a specific part of it because it's not. They don't play the whole song.
Yeah, it's got to be a very clear. So the first one popped in my head was Brooke Valentine's "Girl Fight." It's about to be a girl fight. That was the first song popped in my head. But then I do really like Fort Minor. Remember the name. but I don't know if it's probably too long.
I mean,
like it would have to be
depends which
just
part of the song you want.
Well, obviously, I want the
You want the
100%
percentages?
remember the name. Yeah, but I think you can't get all the percentages in. So I think it's
No.
going to be half the percentages.
We would get to 15% concentrated power of will.
Yeah. But I think you got to start later in that verse and then hit the end. So you can do that.
Yeah.
But I also think it would be very fun to do like a techno house song, like Darude's Sandstorm. And then... Or what was that song that was for the Six Flags commercials with the old man? Did you have those commercials?
We didn't have Six Flags.
Oh, right.
Why would we get Six Flags commercials? Oh, yeah, I know that song. Is that the Venga Boys?
Was that the one in the old man commercial? Okay, people know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, the sponsored money.
My money now.
No.
Why? Why do you have the money in your pocket? Can I have it?
We got sponsored.
I give you money all the time to go play your claw machines.
Yeah, and I need this for it's my claw machine.
It's your claw machine money?
Yeah.
For his birthday one year, I gave him like $50 in singles so that he could play the claw machine.
And I spent it almost all in one place. All right, I'm going to have to mute this part of the pod, but it's this song?
Yes, we like to party.
Yeah.
We like to party.
It's the thing where you're so...
But there was an old man dancing. That was the commercial.
Okay, and why are you so passionate about this old man?
Maybe that would be my walkout song. Ding, 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 ding. That was the other thing. I feel like they didn't play the songs long enough.
Well,
but that applies across the board.
No. Here's the thing. I felt like there was like no rhyme or reason where the announcer would be like batting next, as shortstop, whatever. And then play the song. Okay. But then for the next person, they would not play song nor announce it. And then for the next person, they would just announce it. And the next person who just got the song, I was like, there's no like uniformity here.
I liked it when they did this, the things that you could clap to, but then they would only do it twice. And it's like we had just gotten
and then
clapping,
they would be like, you're going to clap
like,
without
that's
me.
enough
Yeah.
now. Oh, Pooya got to experience the 7th inning stretch where we all stood up and sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
I thought that happened at the beginning of the game.
He was so confused. It was so funny.
Like, now?
And
like,
he was like, why? Everybody's standing and singing.
Because, like, they're like, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. And I thought, oh, it's time to stretch. Like, they're like promoting, like, you've been sitting here for so long. But then everyone got up and I was like, something doesn't feel right. I don't think people are going to get up and stretch like this. And then it was Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I was like, wait, doesn't this happen at the beginning?
No, it's the 7th inning stretch. I noticed you did not sing along.
I don't know the lyrics.
It's Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Also, yeah, I don't want to sound rude, so I'm not going to make any comments.
You didn't grow up. Again, I remember when I was so I would go to like summer camp and stuff, and they would take us to baseball games. Like, because it was $5 seat, like nosebleeds. So the nosebleed seats, which are the ones that are like way up top, it would be $5 a ticket. So they would cart all of us kids down there. And we would go to the baseball games. So like I grew up going to Rockies games. So that's how you learn it because you're like growing up in it. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is I'm explaining why it makes sense that you don't have that. Because you didn't grow up with the Six Flags commercials, you didn't grow up with baseball. That's normal.
Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. But you would prefer buy me some Dollar Dogs? They have a good deal on Saturday. It's like 621 or something. It's
$6 drinks. No. Yes. $2 snacks, $1 food.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. So that'd be a good idea.
Their hot dogs are $1 on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and we were there on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. So that's why you got your dollar dogs.
Yeah. I got a commemorative cup.
Yes. So we got the jerseys. Pooya has a commemorative cup, and I got the tiny helmet that fits the girls. Which I'm going to try to take more pictures later. Yeah. All right, let me see. Did I write anything else down of something I wanted to talk about? I did enjoy looking at the players' butts.
Yeah, she was being very rude about that.
Well, some of their butts looked more prominent than others. So I just wanted to point out that
As
pattern.
is human nature. Some people got more cake. Some people don't have cake.
Yeah, it was better when we were on the first level walking around. That was a better angle for the butts.
For Cake Watch, yeah. Speaking of cake, we were leaving the stadium, And on our way out, this guy was like, we're going to throw these out. Would you like these? And we were like, sure.
Yeah.
And it was a basket of mini donuts.
I forgot to bring them to work. I was going to bring them to work today, and I forgot.
That they're fresh. They're warm. They're hot. They're tasty.
They were really good.
Yeah.
They were so sweet, though. It genuinely felt like if I eat more than 2 of these, that's it.
That's it. What does that's it mean?
That's it. I'm done. My blood is glucose. It's all sugar. I am sugar now. Melt me.
Yeah, well, you missed the window on sending it to your work.
Oh, it's over now. You claim them.
I had a couple today.
Oh, you did?
There's like 3 pieces left,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. There were 3 pieces there? There were a ton left in there.
Now there's 3 left.
Okay. So I will not take the 3 that were left to work.
I mean, you can if you want.
That would be weird. Be like, okay, everybody split these 3 mini donuts.
Yeah, I had
Hey,
none.
thanks for taking me to work.
It's still there. I didn't touch it.
Oh, okay. So I could take them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if I remember. Did you eat them?
No!
Oh, okay. Okay. Sometimes I don't
had
know if you're
hella cookies last night.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, Santa had hella cookies last night. You did not, according to your own lore.
I mean, that sounds like a loophole to me. Dress up like Santa, the calories don't count.
You could talk to your dietitian and be
Santa had burgers.
Santa had burgers. I didn't, but
Santa got supersized fries.
Okay, if you had to be the Easter Bunny, Santa, the Tooth Fairy, what's another like fictional? I feel like there's different Santas in different countries. Like, what's the bell in France that like brings you chocolate in your shoe or something?
I don't know. Okay, where's this question going?
I really wanted to be friends with the Tooth Fairy when I was a kid.
Why?
Because she was a fairy.
But also, she walked around with a bag of teeth.
In retrospect, as an adult, it's weird, and I don't like
and
teeth
weird
stuff.
you out.
Yes, but I did collect toothbrushes as a kid.
Used?
No.
Not used.
No. Like, you know, you have like toothbrushes that have different like patterns and stuff on them.
Sure.
Or people would go on trips and bring me a toothbrush from like Japan.
Where's this toothbrush collection now?
I think either my mom or dad has it, or we threw it away because that's weird.
Okay. What was your question that you were?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
You were building up all the fictional characters, and would you rather, and then didn't finish it.
Would you rather?
So you're just not going to try and remember
I don't remember.
Great.
I finished decorating the house.
Yeah, that was a situation from this week.
That was a situation from this week.
Was.
What does that mean?
It means that I feel like there's still this complicated thing with us in our dynamic where you have more of an opinion on some of these things than I do.
Okay.
I have little to no opinion.
Okay.
But then if I make a comment, I don't know, it's weird.
Okay. So, I have opinions.
Yes.
I also want to make sure that I am not steamrolling decisions. So if you express an opinion, because even though I have an opinion, that doesn't mean that I'm not open to changing things. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just making a guess with what my best information is at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm open to making changes if you express an opinion.
Yeah.
But what happens is you express an opinion and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, how about this instead? And you're like, whatever, I don't care. And I'm like, you do care because you expressed an opinion.
No, so let me also add to this. So I woke up on Saturday. You are off work Saturdays, meaning you still wake up the same time you would for work.
Yeah.
But then you do like 17 things. You'll go to Pilates and then you'll start running all your errands. So I woke up at like 10:30 and you had already done so many things and you were in like worker bee mode.
Yeah.
And I'm in my eyes are still kind of like closed and I need to have my coffee to wake up. And I felt like I was getting bombarded with questions and like my opinion was being asked of things and I just didn't feel prepared to answer them.
My first question to you was, do you have the capacity to have this conversation?
And I said yes.
Okay.
And we had that conversation and I used It's like if a phone was charged at 18%, I just used 14% to provide you that conversation.
Okay.
So I went down to 4%. As I'm starting to charge back up, you're still asking me questions after we're done. Because it's kind of like, you're like, since you were cool with it, I can ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I do not have the capacity to do this now.
Yes, which is fine. And you expressed that, and we dropped the conversation. Because that's all you have to do.
But
you
to be clear, I'm not relitigating this. I'm just talking about it to the audience. So I'm not saying that we're... but if the point of the podcast is, hey, this is how we are, there's an insight, let them get the insight.
Yes, and both of us are providing our own individual perspectives on what had happened on Saturday morning.
I just didn't like when we dropped this, because it implies that...
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you don't think I'm relitigating it now.
No.
Okay, cool.
We're explaining what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so let's go back to the original, like, overarching topic. Yeah. Right? Which is the idea that I have opinions and you do have opinions?
No. You have opinions.
Yeah.
I have little to no opinions.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I heard this somewhere, that was one way to, if you have a conflict, like, let's say I want this, you want that, ask how much do you care, right? Because, for example, I can have an opinion on something. Like, for example, I hung this painting here, okay? But I don't really care that specific painting goes there. Right. So, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, do I care how much that specific painting is in that specific location? No, it's like a 2 out of 10. Do I care that something is hung there? Yes, because it's a perfect place to put artwork. Right? So that might be an 8 out of 10. Yeah. But then that way, and like, if, for example, if you're trying to decide where you want to eat dinner, let's say Pooya wants to go to, pick a restaurant. Culver's. Let's say Pooya wants to go to Culver's. Yeah, but I want to go to Culver's. So then we would be in agreement. Okay, fine.
I want to pick the Indian place.
Okay, you want to go to the Indian place, and let's say I want to go to Culver's. Okay.
Yes.
I can ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want to go there? And let's say you say a 10, like 10 out of 10. I really want to try this Indian restaurant. I'm going to
push for this.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, okay, I was a 3 out of 10 on Culver's. So yours trumps mine because of how much, like, you care about that. So that's sort of the general approach that I use for things like this, where if you have an opinion, I'm happy to incorporate it depending on how much you care. But since you typically don't care very much.
Typically, that's the thing. Even if you're at a 3 for something, I'm like at a 2 probably. So it's not going to matter anyway. Yes.
But then sometimes you have, like, really rare things that for some reason you, like, care deeply about, which is interesting.
Why for some reason?
Because you're, like you said, you're sort of typical as like, it's fine, I don't really care. And then all of a sudden something will happen and, like, you really cared about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare, but I have some opinions.
Yeah. You do have some opinions. Yeah. That is a true statement.
It's weird, isn't it? Because, like, for example, I'll sit on stream and I'll talk about my thoughts and my takes on things. And I'll come off very passionate. But the reality is I don't really care. It's not that deep to me. And I think, like, that's both a great way to be and also an awful way to be. Because it's like, what am I standing for? You know, what is my where is my opinion?
Yeah, what's the Hamilton lyric? What will you, if you don't know what you stand for, what will you fall for, or something like that? Shannon will know. Your best friend Shannon will know.
My best friend Shannon.
Your best friend Shannon.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I think I also have a lot of opinions. I care more than you do about those opinions, but I am also very open to exploring alternative options, because at the end of the day, I want something that will work the best for the maximum number of people. So I'm in pursuit of whatever that solution is. Like, right now we had this, like, crazy long meeting at work today to try to figure out, like, how we're going to approach this certain thing that we're trying to do. And those are, like, my favorite kinds of meetings, because they're all, like, brainstorming meetings where we just get to throw out ideas and say, okay, I enjoy the process of being able to just talk out loud and think through thoughts and problems and those kinds of things. And I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I'm talking about it now. So I'm going to stop talking.
Why? Feel free.
Well, because I don't know where I'm going.
Okay.
I just started rambling.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
In my sailor shoot. Hardy. Wait, what do sailors say? Ahoy. Ahoy. Mateys.
Now they're pirates.
Pirates are sailors. I'm a seaman. So. Like that one guy at the baseball game. What?
I don't
T.Y. French.
France.
T.Y. France. I remember his name.
His name isn't T.Y. It's
Nas
Ty.
Reed. I remember players' names. Pooya's been quizzing me for Timberwolves players.
Yeah. I was like, well, now that we're like a little bit away from them getting eliminated, do you still remember the names?
Yes, I do.
Apparently.
Haha.
We got our security deposit back from the old place.
Oh my God,
today.
yeah. Wait, did you try to cash it? Is it in my name or your name?
I think it's under your name.
It's under my name. Mm-hmm. They should have. We're both on the lease. They should have issued
well,
it.
My
both
name is
names.
on the letter that accompanied it that gives us a breakdown of all the things.
Okay.
So.
Did they give us the full security deposit back?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what you paid. So.
Well, because we deserve all that money back because anything that was wrong with the apartment was general wear and tear and like the crap construction that they did.
I am floored we got this money. I'm not going to lie to you.
You thought they were going to scam us out of it?
I didn't think they were going to scam us. I just thought we were never going to see this money. Like, which is why even from when we were in the apartment the night before we left, I was like, and if we don't get it, we don't get it. Because I was like, I need to mentally prepare you for the world where we get scumbagged here.
I mean, the thing is that because we paid that security deposit, 4 years ago at this point, it does kind of feel like, oh, that's just lost money. Mm-hmm. That money just doesn't exist anymore. Because
and now we have bonus free money.
No, it's not bonus free money.
Because we didn't have that money. That money didn't exist.
Technically, it's like tied up in an investment. Like it is our money. We just lost interest.
I'm going to take a vacation using that money.
You are not going to take a vacation because we need to pay back a lot of the moving costs.
No.
Yes.
What moving costs?
I don't have time to go over our financials right now on pod, but I will explain it to you later, assuming that the cash.
I don't want to talk about it unless the cameras are rolling.
Why do you only want to talk about it on camera?
Because you don't want to talk about it with the cameras rolling. That means I don't have to hear it. That means I get to get away with it without hearing it.
Okay, we're gonna be doing. Wait, episode 23 is our financial breakdown episode.
God.
We're going through our finances. Here are all our. Oh my God, it was so funny. So when Pooya moved in, and we got married. That's a thing that had happened.
What?
Yes. And so, of course, I listed him as a beneficiary on like all of my accounts. So if something happens to me, you're going to get the money. So I remember this was very early on when Pooya was first here. And I was trying to walk him through all of my the accounts of like, these are my 401ks. And like, this is my 403B. Like, this is where I have money saved. These are the CDs that I have. Like, these are all of my current investments.
And I was like, I have this is my box set of the league. This is my CDs. I got Parks and Rec on DVD. What's up?
It was like, I could see his eyes just glazing over. And I was like, oh no, Pooya's never going to get this money if I die.
You will outlive me, so we'll be okay.
That's the hope.
The hope?
Well, not for me. I'm hoping that we like.
Oh God, I don't want to
go out together.
What the fuck? Let me tell your story.
Just like Hamilton.
Oh my God, stop with the Hamilton. Stop trying to make Hamilton happen.
It's not going to happen.
Also, sad news.
Oh no.
I think you on the thumbnail didn't really work. People didn't click on the thumbnail.
Wait, what was the thumbnail?
It was you and Obama.
Yeah,
last week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. For reference, the week before that, the episode was me on the thumbnail.
Okay.
That had 2,000 more views.
2,000? Did our video get like blacklisted or something?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
You got 2.4 thousand. We got 2.4 thousand on the last episode compared to.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're trying to learn the algo, fam. So apparently, putting me and Barack Obama on the algo or on the thumbnail
could it be a thumbnail stitch because we did say Survivor 48, like we talked about Survivor 48 draft in the title of that one.
Yeah, that's why.
No, I'd like to think it's because of my raw sex appeal on the cover. Look at this photo. Me with the belts.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely because of the Survivors.
No need to be rude.
I'm sorry. That's what I think it is. I bet if we went back and we
what
actually
you know about algos, huh?
Oh my gosh. I think if we actually went back and tracked the data, I bet if you mention reality TV in the title, it's going to have more views.
Well, you want me to look at the episode prior to that one?
Big Brother.
We rated every awkward interaction ever.
Okay.
Had 3.1.
Does that have your face on it?
And yours.
Aha!
But my face is also there. But yeah, this is fun stuff. We're doing fun things.
Well,
here.
we'll analyze the data.
Yeah.
Do you like data?
Depends on what amount.
Data's so useful.
Okay. I'm not debating that. You said, do you like it? You know what else is useful? Oats. Don't need to like them.
Oh my gosh. My boss, her apartment had an oat bar. Should we do an oat bar?
I want an out bar.
Let me out of this oat bar, am I right?
Yeah. Oof.
I thought at first she meant like an oat, like a protein bar, like oat bar, but no, like an oat bar. You know what I mean?
Now you've lost me. What's the difference?
Well, okay, so it's like you go and you like test all, like a salad bar, but like an oat bar.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, I did see something on TikTok. There's a place that does coffee flights where you can get like little and like try all their different coffees.
Why would you want to do that?
To taste coffees.
Is that something you're into?
Because have you like a flight, like a wine flight or like a tequila flight or like a beer flight? Okay, yeah, but it's for coffee.
Okay.
And you can get a matcha.
Yeah.
That's what I'd get. Or I would want to try their matcha at least. Are you playing piano? What was that?
That's what you were doing. I would want to try them at least.
Dun, 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 dun. Do you think they have a live organist at the baseball games?
Yes.
That's cool.
I don't think it's like buttons.
Like buttons? Like buttons.
No, I think it's an organist.
Yeah. Okay.
What was I about to do?
You were going to read a review. Read comments.
I was going to look at comments from last episode because a lot of people did like our philosophical questions that we went through.
The trolley problem questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to find one of those and ask one of those right now.
Oh my God. Wait. Okay. Before we talk about that. So I have an update on the when is lunch situation. They went to lunch at 11:30.
Who?
The people that I went to lunch with. So lunch definitely starts by 11:30 for sure.
See,
you were arguing that noon, I think, right?
So we had a bunch of mixed responses. So some people were 100% with you. They're like, I like to have dinner between 5 and 6. So I'm 100% with Liana. Dinner at our house is 4:30. I eat dinner at 5 p.m. Would say it is dinner from 4 to 8. Any later is just crazy. I've always had dinner around 5:30. 4:30 is definitely an early dinner.
Yeah.
So we got that. Bree here says, I like to eat dinner at 6, but 6 is definitely considered early to me. I think culturally the average dinner time is 7 to 8. A late dinner is 9. I was like, that I kind of co-sign. That all makes sense to me. So all that to say is like we're a little bit all over the place. I did go ahead. So we have an RHAP chat BCC, and I did post in there last week to see where people were thinking about the same question, which was what time is the cutoff where lunch ends and dinner begins to y'all?
Yeah.
And this is slightly different than when is lunch, when is dinner. Because what I realized is for me, I'm like a sushi restaurant where
you're closed in the middle of the day.
Yes. Lunch happens until here. And then for like the next 2 hours, we're not having another meal.
There is no meal.
You're not doing a lunch here. You're not doing a dinner here. This is like snack era. Do some snacking if you want. But like, yeah. So someone said, like Kirsten here said, I think 4, but my ideal dinner is 6:30.
But 4 would be the cutoff time between lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
That was a question that you asked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I would say 3:30 would be my cutoff time. Like I know 3:30 is early for dinner. Yeah, 3:30 or 4. I agree with that. Like that's if they were continuous. If there was nowhere closed for a time period.
So if you don't eat lunch by 4.
Then it's
then
dinner. It's dinner.
You're not having lunch / it's dinner now.
It becomes
that I can get behind. Because for me it's like I'll have dinner at 4, like lunch at 4, dinner at 9. Maybe that could be the move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like lunch for me is like 3 or 2 to 3. That's like when the lunch happens. So anyway, that's not the reason that came up is because I did want to look at the comments and talk about the comments. But yeah.
Okay.
What?
Well, were there other comments? Is that what you meant?
I'm normally completely with Liana, but I agree with Pooya entirely on the dinner situation. I'm telling you, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it also probably depends on where in the time zone you are. Like, I think part of it could also be like by the sun, you know? Because you know how when you're on like the east side of the time zone versus the west side of the time zone, it's actually the sunset is at different time. I mean, it's all at the same time. Okay, no, like it's 5 o'clock, but the sun is already set in one place and not set in the other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you were saying.
So I wonder if that factors into it as well.
Maybe. Yeah, because I mean, for me, the sun is down by like 7, maybe 8.
Like all the time?
In Dubai, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I didn't have this 4.
But that's
4
close
PM,
to the equator, right?
4 p.m.
So,
the sun is gone was foreign to me.
Yeah.
And like I remember being in Sweden in the summer and like losing my mind that the sun was not down. It's like it's still bright out and it's 9:45. Like what are we doing here?
Like what is happening?
Yeah,
the world is
I was
broken.
like, bro,
The
how is it not
sun's
just dark
broken.
at 7 or 8 like every day?
Oh my gosh, that must be a really interesting thing to like experience the tilt of the world.
Yeah.
And to like discover that a concept.
I have two new reviews for you.
Okay.
One is a 4-star, one is a 5-star.
Okay.
Should I just read both?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
We
kind of like a
accept
yin and yang.
all feedback.
So would you like to start with the 5-star first?
Whatever you choose.
Oh, interesting. Put it on me. Okay. All right. 5 stars from HJT Birder.
Okay.
It says, loving it, 5 stars. This podcast brings me so much joy. Such a great outlet for me to just have a good laugh. I relate so much to Liana and Pooya. They remind me of me and my husband's relationship.
Aw, that's so cute.
Absolutely one of my favorites. I've been seeing that a lot where we remind people of their relationship,
Aw.
which I find interesting because I'm like, I wonder if we've brought up some stuff where they're like, let me ask you this. What do you think about this? To see what their take is.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Then we had a 4-star one.
Okay.
By monikering around. So moniker YING around. Monikering around. So monikering around gave 4 stars and had weird chemistry. And then said, I like them both from the RHAP drafts and I find them both very relatable on this podcast individually. Cool. But their dynamic together is a bit uncomfortable to watch in my opinion. Pooya comes off insecure and defensive, and Liana is just on another wavelength from him, which it. I don't.
Okay, look, we accept any and all feedback.
I mean, I always say this, even streams, any podcast, I agree.
Yeah. Well, how does that make you feel?
You don't have to like try and read me for filth here. Listen, the defensive thing sometimes is good content. Sometimes it's real. Sometimes good content. Insecurity, like, aren't we all just a little bit insecure about something? I'm sitting next to a PhD holder, a scientist.
I don't like the way my chin looks when I smile. What? Well, I thought we were talking about our insecurities.
Yeah, I'm insecure compared to who I'm sitting next to. And you're like, my chin looks weird.
It does. I've been noticing a lot. It gets like a weird dimple, but only when I smile. Like when I'm just neutral face, like no expression on my face, it's like, I mean, I've got a little bit of that like kind of butt chin that like sticks out a little bit. But when I smile, I get this weird, and I'm on a lot of Zoom calls now
it's
because
like
I'm taking. Yeah, I know, but it's only when it's weird. It's like only when I smile.
When people,
and I notice
the ones that have the cheek dimples, they smile and they get
those
the
are
dimples.
cute. I have a weird. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, like I do consider myself to be a pretty confident person. I don't think I have a super ton of insecurities apart from my little chin dimple and my uneven eyes. Like I have additional tissue over my right eye than my left eye, which kind of pushed my right eye down a little bit, which I told Pooya I would love to get an upper blepharoplasty one day to just kind of, because I'm worried that eventually my eye is just going to be shut and only this eye is going to be open. But it's, did you just wink at me?
Yeah, no.
Okay. What are we talking? Oh, insecurities. Yeah. Oh, so this is what they mean by we're on a different wavelength, because you're like, here, let me talk about this kind of deep thing about my, perceived defensiveness and how and I'm like, my chin's weird.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly, we just illustrated exactly what that review stated.
Yeah. So again,
sorry.
Honestly, low key, like the fact that you feel a little uncomfortable when you give 4 stars still, I appreciate that. Like that could have easily been a 3.
Yeah,
so shout
exactly.
out to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the different wavelength thing, that's just who we are as people. Like
we are very different as people.
Whoa.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, that's true.
See,
I don't
look
know why
how similar we are. See,
See, you got defensive.
What do you mean by that, though?
What do you mean by that?
No, I mean,
What do you mean by we're so different?
Like, we are, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a tendency, and maybe it has to do with the fact that I've done it a lot with streaming, where I immediately was like, let me tell you a very, like, personal moment for me. And then yours is like, yeah, so I had this Vietnamese food, and it was really good, and actually made me think 4 o'clock. That's when we had dinner.
No, 11:30 is when we went to lunch.
That's what I meant. I didn't remember.
Well, but that's because I think, okay, so it is every once in a while when I look at our relationship from the outside, why are we together? No. And I don't mean
Oh my God. Yesterday at the pub place,
Oh, yes.
So the woman comes up to us, our server, and she was like, would you like another drink? We're like, actually, no, can we get the check? And Liana's saying this because I'm have a mouthful of burger in my mouth. And then she's like, would you like separate checks or one check? And Liana was like, one check. And she walks away, and then Liana looks at me and goes, do you think she thinks we're just like friends? Like, what do you think her thought is? Because, I mean, I think she's going to ask regardless, separate or same.
We don't often. Well, sometimes we get asked if split check, but most of the time they just bring the check for one.
I think it depends on the establishment you're in.
Okay.
I think some places, they're kind of like, we're a one check place anyway.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah,
like,
I guess so.
Like, I think if you go to an Olive Garden, they're hitting you with the one check. They're not asking for separate.
No, they have the little thing now that you hit.
You can do
and
separate.
you do the meme where you're like, are we...
Am I getting lucky tonight?
Yeah. And then when it's a no, you hit split check.
So then you said that, and then in my head I was like, this woman doesn't think I'm good enough for you. Again, I immediately made me the problem. You know, maybe this guy is not far off. Maybe
this person is completely accurate.
So rude.
It's not right. But I mean, that is something that, okay, I'm gonna say a statement of something that I've observed.
I'm not gonna react insecurely.
You do sometimes, that is kind of your like knee-jerk gut reaction, is to be defensive in some sense. And I don't think you don't mean it in that way, but it's just the way that your brain has sort of been programmed to behave.
There's a couple of instances and scenarios in my life where I'm a very confident person. I'm confident in who I am and what I do and what I know. You listen to me talk on a Traders podcast, you're getting the confident guy, because I'm very confident in my knowledge and my feelings about that show. With some things in my life, in our life, I definitely can and do come off insecure because I don't feel secure in what I know or how to operate. I'm a little bit like, okay, is this cool? Yeah, it's cool. All right, cool. Like, it's a little bit like that, because it's like I come from a place of rather safe than sorry. So it's a little bit of that. The whole like fake it till you make it thing. I never want to come off being exposed as not knowing or stupid. So that's why I kind of am wired this way.
Yeah. I think there is something that you have to, and this happens also with like students that I work with, where you gotta, like, I try to train my students to just be like a kid again. Like, it sounds weird, but just pursue knowledge. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't know something. Like, there are no stupid questions. If you are trying to learn and trying to figure something out, no one should ever treat you poorly for that. And if someone does, they're the jerk, not you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you should be willing, and it's okay to contribute to conversations where you don't know anything, because it's an opportunity for you to learn something. And that's like fun.
I've tried to get into more, because especially again, like you like the world you come from is so like knowledge based and like information driven, that I'm coming in, I'm coming in and I am coming in ill equipped. So I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, or I don't want to bring you shame. You know,
but that can't happen.
I mean, I understand that on a regular like level, but then on a subconscious level, I don't.
Right. And that's what I'm reassuring you is the case, that won't happen.
Yeah.
The way you can embarrass me is by an unwillingness to learn. Like if you're
What?
like, that's for losers, I'm not learning that.
Oh, yeah, having that kind of attitude should be embarrassing regardless of what the topic is.
So if a topic comes up that you don't know anything about, there's nothing to be ashamed. There are
But what if I don't care?
If you don't care about that topic.
Yeah.
Well, it depends why you don't care about that topic. Do you not care about that? Because, so for example, like I will have friends or family bring up topics that I am not inherently interested in, but I'm interested in them as people. So I care about that topic because I care about them as a person.
That's fair.
So for example, like for you, I don't really care about soccer or football or FIFA.
Oh, we know.
But I care about you, and I care about learning it because I care about you.
Mm-hmm. And you've done a great job of learning it.
Yes, thank you. I know about the dailies, and I get the hit the button and the packs and the colors of the people.
That's the video game FIFA.
That's what I mean, yeah.
It's not even called FIFA anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the new name?
It's FC 25.
Okay, well, I know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
But
Well,
that's because I care about you.
Yeah, that's fair. Or that, obviously I also know about like making cakes in that weird Palea game you were playing.
Yes. Oh my God, cake parties.
Yeah. So
I missed that.
yeah. I don't care about the game, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that it's asking yourself why. Like, I don't care if you're looking up stuff on your own about topics, but when we're having a conversation, I would hope you would care enough to want to learn what I'm explaining to you.
Yeah. And to bring it back to the finances thing where you were like, he was not. I tried. Remember the first time? Remember the first time we were together in person and you brought like science stuff to explain your science to me? I tried so hard to understand.
I know.
And it's like I was still keen to understand. You were like, I'm not doing this. You were like, you don't need to know this.
Yeah, because I appreciate your willingness to want to learn about that kind of stuff. I think it is also communicating. So there's a whole field of communicating science to people who are not scientists.
Yes.
Right? And it's a lot of energy and time to like repackage that information. So like I would rather talk to you about other stuff if we're going to spend our energy, because we have a finite amount of energy and time in the day. Why are you smiling like that? Explain.
Even then you explained it the same way you do now.
What?
And in both then and now, I think you're very sweet, but also you said you're too stupid to know this.
No.
It's cool.
No.
It's cool.
It's the same thing if you tried to explain something that I needed a ton of background information in. Like, of course I'm not going to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
it's just
cool.
normal.
Yeah.
I will say it's very funny. So there was a meeting today. I know. I said it was funny. There were 4 of us in the meeting, and 2 of us are technical, and two of the people in the meeting were not, like, sort of non-technical people. And there was definitely a moment where it was like just Rebecca and I talking to each other, and Teresa texted Danielle and was like, apparently said we're the personality hires.
Can you share all this with us?
Yeah, it's fine, right?
Okay. Don't ask me. How would I know?
I don't think I gave any like NDA worthy information
I don't know.
away.
You gave names up.
Well, if they're all on our website. So if you Googled our website, that's public knowledge that they work for that company.
Speaking of websites, we have a feedback form.
Yes, we do.
We have a couple of questions in there. I was thinking, do you want to go through a couple speed fire?
Hit me with them.
Is Pooya the type of man that doesn't ask why? Like, he would come home and say, so-and-so broke up, and you'd say, oh my God, why? What happened? And he'd say, I don't know, I didn't ask.
Yes.
You are so wrong for that, because that is not true.
Yes, it is.
I have details.
Okay, wait.
When is the last time something happened and I didn't have details?
Okay. Let's reset. In general, when I ask you questions, you're like, I don't know.
Oh, because you will ask ridiculous questions.
I don't ask ridiculous. They're very relevant.
No, they're not.
In my opinion, they're relevant. I find them relevant.
Yeah, well, we know how you ask questions.
I'm gathering data.
We were sitting in this baseball game yesterday, and Liana was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
When I asked you about the basketball players, you knew. So I thought maybe you would know them too.
You know I don't follow baseball like that, though.
Okay, well, I didn't know. And then as soon as you said, I don't know, I didn't ask you anymore who the people were.
So we're lying. So I said, "I don't know." And she was like, "Okay." And then next person came. "Who's that?"
No, that's
Yes,
not true.
I had to stop down and say, "Bean, you're going to keep asking me. And I'm going to keep telling you I don't know. So
Well,
stop
I thought
asking
maybe
me."
you would see their names on the wall or something. Because, they
Okay,
would put
so
their-
you just lied. You
Well, I
admitted
don't
it.
remember now, and I don't want to lock myself into a corner, okay? I know I definitely asked you once.
Who was
Don't
that?
remember if I asked you twice. Thai France.
There you go.
I did it. That's a man on the baseball team.
4:30 is definitely not dinner. Okay. So I'm afraid 4:30 could be my first meal. I feel like Pooya's
That's
definitely...
more like you, yeah.
They then said, I feel like Pooya is definitely a deep thinker. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is... I feel like we need a philosophical discussion where you both take an edible. Why?
I'll get sleepy.
Yeah, Liana will get sleepy,
get sleepy.
and I will get very, in my head.
Yeah, but that could be good for a philosophical discussion.
Did you
just
pull
have
up a
to-
philosophical question for us?
was I supposed to do that?
Yeah, I feel like
I got distracted.
we'll do one, see how that goes.
All right. Well, did you take an edible?
No. I don't think I need one right now. And here is your clam content for the week.
Hi, Claymo. All right. Let's see.
Making a biscuit order
I want to
right
make
now.
sure that, see, how do I know I exist?
What?
That was one of the possible questions.
Other people see me.
Okay, so this is another really classic philosophical question.
Hit me with it. It's a classic one.
If you replace all the parts of a boat, is it still the same boat?
Yes.
Okay, so, but, why?
I mean, you can use anything for this. You can use car for this, right?
Okay.
Or is
you
it
replace
not?
Yeah. It applies to anything.
Yeah. Are you replacing them all at the same time? Then no. But if it's you replace the left part and then the starboard and then the sail, little by little, if it got switched around over 5 years, then
Okay.
it's still the same boat.
So what is it that makes it that boat? Because now it's all brand new pieces.
Yeah, but to me, it's like this. If you replace, let's say, the sail last year, okay? So for a year, that sail has been a part of the rest of the old boat. Mm-hmm. Then you needed to replace the left part of the boat. Mm-hmm. And then the left part of the boat, the new left part for the next 2 years is with the sail and the rest of the old boat. It has now become that old boat.
But what
see
is
what
it?
I mean?
What is it that makes it become the old boat?
Time.
Just time. Just
Yeah.
time. Okay, so what happens if you replace all the parts of a boat at once?
So for example, when you go to school and you start grade 8
Okay.
and a new kid joins, that's the new kid. By grade 9, that's no longer the new kid. There are new kids there. That kid's part of your school, regular person.
Okay.
So that's how I see it.
Okay.
Time makes it part of you or new.
So then why is replacing all of the components of the boat?
At the same time?
Yeah.
Because that's just, you scrapped the boat and made a new one at that point.
So what percentage, if you were to replace 51% of the boat's parts
At that same day,
at that same day,
it's still the same old boat.
so if you replace 99% of the parts of the boat,
Now it's a new boat.
okay, so what
basically.
percentage is the switchover for you?
I don't know. It depends on the elements, because you could say 99%, but the 1% that doesn't change is the sail, an objectively clear item that visibly looks like the identity of that boat. So
how do you define the identity of the boat?
I just think, I don't know. What are you trying to do here?
I'm just trying to understand your line of logic.
Because do you not agree?
I think, well, that's the whole point, right? It's a philosophical question. So I think that, okay, so for a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
Humans, we have like memory and experiences
Sure.
that transcend, because even though like we replace our body, you know, like you get a whole new liver every like 7 years or whatever the whole thing is. But humans have this sort of like persistent memory that exists throughout the replacement of those parts. But like a boat doesn't have that.
Right.
They're just physical items.
Well, to me, it's like this, right? If you use the same question for a home, if your family had a home and you lived in that house, but then y'all retiled the kitchen one year, and then the next year you redid the basement, you went from an unfinished basement to a fully finished basement, then it's like, okay, you're clearly changing up.
Yeah. Like
versus
pieces, you mean?
Yeah, but it's still your old home. Versus if y'all
Tear it
demolished
down
it and start again, now it's like same land, new home. You know, it's like now we got a new house.
Yeah.
So that, I think, for me is what makes it that. It's like there's still, and to use your example of the memories, it's still that same boat. It's the same boat y'all took out to go fishing. It's the same boat you took out on a little trip. It's the same boat that you had your first beer on. Like, it's the same boat. It's just been switching elements to it versus scrapping the whole thing and essentially getting a new boat that day.
So, on that same vein, let's say you replace the sail. But then the sail goes on, like, gets saved. And then all of those pieces, so you take off the sail, you take off the decking, you take off whatever, all of those old pieces are built to make a boat. Now, which boat is which?
I think it depends on the attachment you have to your boat. So, for example, to give you an example, one item that I have had with me that makes me feel like I'm still home, like with my parents, my mom got me a little bobblehead for my desk. And it's a bobblehead of Donkey from Shrek. And that has made it to every desk I've had.
Okay.
And every place I've lived in since university. So, like, for me, it's a new everything. But that's like a little reminder that I'm still the same person. Like, it's like almost like it grounds you. You know what I mean? So it depends on the person. The steering wheel might be that for them. Or it's a little bench that they remember they shared their first kiss there with their like
on the boat
sweetheart. Yeah, on that boat. So they kept that little bench, like no matter what they did with the boat, that bench stuck around, right? Or it's like the sail. It's like, oh, the sail had a little rip on it. I remember my pops like poked a hole in it by mistake. Or like, oh, I remember this is a little bit charred because like we were like cooking something on the boat, and then this happened, scorch mark happened. So it really depends on the element that's being kept, and what weight it holds for the person. Because if this is someone who is extremely wealthy, has not really made any connections in this boat, like doesn't really have any memories attached to it, and they keep everything but they repaint it, it might as well be a different boat. So it depends on that.
Okay, I would think of for the house analogy, like I think at a certain point it becomes a different house. Like I think if you redid the kitchen, you redid the bedrooms, you redid the flooring, you redid the I think if you redo enough stuff, I think it does become a new house. I think for me it goes back to that question of percentages. Like at what percent now is it a new house?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I agree with you. I don't think it's 51%. Maybe it's like 70 or 75%, and then it becomes a new house. And then it's like mostly new house with old house.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Okay. That was your philosophical question for the week.
And yours too.
Yeah.
We discussed it.
That's right. Didn't we,
right.
Clam?
Yeah. And it's a philosophical question, so no one won, which is a conversation.
There's no winning.
Yeah.
Right?
But let us know what your thoughts are in the comments, because I read everything. All right. Liana, do you have any plugs right now? I feel like you're in your like off-season kick right now. You've got nothing but pal.
Living. Yes.
Yeah. So if you wanted them to check out some other content or anything, what would you recommend?
You should go to Pooya on Twitch.com. Because I am showing up.
What's the link? If they had to put a link in and they need you to...
Twitch.com/Pooya.
Jesus, it's twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv/Pooya.
You know, I was going to give you a $5, but...
$20. Money, please.
Nah, you botched the
Money,
website.
please.
You botched the website. But yeah, that's twitch.tv/Pooya. Find me on socials at Pooyaism on everything. I am still talking 90 Day Fiance. Actually, Liana, she could have plugged it. She didn't. But she's joining me to talk 2 episodes of A Hunt for Love this week of 90 Day, the spinoff. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to tell her there who they announced the cast for Happily Ever After that's coming in July. So I'll tell her there who those are. So we'll check that out. And then outside of that, I have the stream, and that's it. We'll be back here next week with some more Pal. But until then, take care. Have a good one.